welcome to yet another exciting edition of the program Morning Ride. And of course, it's the Tuesday's edition. Wow, how I get excited every Tuesday. And that tells you that Tuesday being the second day in the new week, it's another bright day. It's another way to say thank you to our Lord Almighty for seeing us through. Today being the 23rd day, yes, in the month of April 2024. April is gradually going into extinction. So on behalf of the board management and staff, I welcome you to our world of information, education and entertainment. My name is Onometao.
And my name is Lilibet Ugochukwu. Thank you so much for joining us on Tuesday's morning ride, the 23rd day in the month of April. And good morning to you, Tanu.
Yes, Lilibet, I must confess that you are a Tuesday Lilibet.
I'm not my Monday Lilibet now, Tanu.
I just like everything that you put in on this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Can I blush?
If you want to blush. If you don't want to, then leave it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And you look dashing. I love your outfit. You know, when I saw you walking, I was like, Alhaji has come again.
Baba Otumba.
Baba Otumba has come again, you know? So, yes, thank you so much for joining Tanu and Lilibet this morning. We have a beautiful lineup for you this Tuesday morning, and you will enjoy every bit of it.
Yes, by the grace of Almighty God. Today promises to be quite exciting. It's a back-to-back series of chats.
Yes.
So we'll be expecting some of our wonderful guests who will be speaking to various conversations this morning. Yeah, but away from that, the issues that are trending from the various angles. You know, I watched a video where, you know, Nigerians are very, very smart and intelligent people. You know, this issue of mutilating the Naira notes. You know, they came out with different dimensions.
Yes.
You know, the same guy who is under trial, the person of Cubana Chief Priest, was doing transfer.
Yes, now he went to the musician and said, call your account number. He did transfer. And he went to the celebrant. Okay, and he did transfer.
You know?
Once bitten, twice shy.
Then
It was funny though.
Yeah, there was another clip again I saw. And they brought a very
Big box.
box.
Yes, and when you give the celebrant money, you put it inside the box.
Inside the box. I said,
The
okay.
Nigerians can be coordinated like this.
So the question was,
The
which
box
way,
does up.
which way EFCC? You know, so
The fear of ESCC is the beginning of coordination.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
But it was funny though. It was funny. But the question now is, Tanu, how long is this going to stay? How long? Do you think that there will be a time that the EFCC will throw their eyes off this spraying stuff? And secondly, I want to believe that there are some areas that will still spray money, and EFCC might not, their eyes might not get there.
No, you see, there's no way they can even be everywhere.
You can't be everywhere, that's it.
Do you understand? That is the truth, because when you look at the generality...
If you're a celebrity, you're in for it. Their touchlight will be on you.
No, not even the touchlight being on you. You know, whether you're a celebrity or you are a talakawa, it doesn't really matter. But the most important thing is, can they actually co-op the exercise?
They cannot.
You know, I was sharing with somebody yesterday that, you see, it is in our culture. You know, it's in our DNA that spraying is part of us.
It's part of us as Nigerians.
Look, many years ago, when people spray you at parties, they clear off the money immediately. As they're spraying, there are people who are picking it up and all of that. So you don't really see an atmosphere where it's unpleasant. But because the celebrators now say, no, leave our money there.
Yeah.
Don't touch
So
the
that
money.
people will see the
You know,
the multitude of cash that people spray us. Is a kind of show off.
yes,
It's a kind of show off.
Yes.
Because I don't see any reason why when they spray you, they pick it up you know, immediately, so you don't step on. I think what the problem is, you know, with this EFCC and stopping people that spray money is because we trample on this cash. You know, people trample on the cash. They step on the cash.
But do you know,
I'm sure that is the reason why.
Sincerely, there's no way you can do without, you know, stepping on the cash. There's no way you can do without it. Because I try to remember when I got married many, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, even though the spray was not the way it is now, when I take time to look at my video clip, I found out that at one or 2 points, I stepped on a few Naira notes while I was on the neutral dance. You know, so there's no way. It is just that when you pile it, you know, when you pile it, that is when it looks, this kind of money. Do you understand? But if you do it, you know, in a very cultured way, nobody seems to want to look at what is happening now. You know.
Well, and you know, it actually beautifies the occasion.
I said it.
Sorry to say, EFCC don't come after me, but it actually beautifies the occasion. You know, when you see money flying up, and you see money all around you, it gives you that sense of belonging. You know, you have that mindset that, oh, people actually did turn out for me. People came out, you know, for me. So, well, I just hope that they go soft on it because, like you rightly said, it cannot be everywhere at the same time. People will still fault, but let's just try and manage.
And you see this spray now.
The situation.
There was a way. It moved from different. It moved from a dimension to another dimension.
Okay.
Before people would just come and just stay at a point, and you know, then even at a point they started pasting the money on
their forehead and body parts.
Then from the spiritual angle, they now say,
it's not good.
Immediately you spray somebody at the wedding or something, a week after the person goes sick, or the marriage scatters. You don't understand? So the spiritual perspective of it that came and said, don't spray on their forehead.
Yes. Let it be on the floor.
Let it be on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and from when they started putting it on the floor, you know, the Igbos are, I'm sorry, with all due respect,
sure,
they are the ones that brought this style.
What about the Yorubas?
No. The Igbos have it.
Okay, they do competition amongst themselves.
Because at that point,
right?
It is not competitive.
Yeah.
And I pull out the
bundle and throw it up.
And I pull it out and hey, pops. You see a guy who dance to that angle there, and from there, fling the money. So everybody, every part of the hall,
everybody's diving
money.
You know,
you just see what 500 will just land on your table.
And you just pick it up.
No, that one is your spray now. We look at things as I give it to the couple. You know, so that is the good thing. You know, I probably want everybody to feel their wealth. Do you understand? Okay, and if it's not landing on the couple, it should land on your table. Then, you know, if you are that type, probably you are cultured, civilized, just still leave the money there. You know, but, you know, some people say, but this one our own part of the...
Of course.
They trust our women, you know, straight to their purse.
Our women.
Straight to the purse.
Our women.
Straight to the purse.
Okay. Okay. It's fine.
That's why we walk come out and say, I don't do that.
I don't. I'm a woman. Speaking on behalf of my fellow women, we don't do that.
But if there are 1,000, it's only one that will not do that. They remember it.
Okay, so...
It's a culture.
Yes.
It's a culture.
Yes.
You know, so...
It is, actually. Alright, so that's what's trendy. Well, for our national celebration, we really do not have much celebration today that concerns us, rather, is today around scooping dog poop. Yes, it says that the dog poop can actually be deadly to dogs. Just one sniff or a leak can lead to the potentiality fatal canine parvovirus parvo. Now it says parvo is one of the most contagious and deadly viruses for dogs and puppies, and it is directly linked to dog poop. Sadly, research shows only 44% of dog owners know what parvo is, with 20% having no knowledge of the disease, presenting a huge education gap and the opportunity to spread greater awareness. So on this day, the 23rd day in the month of April 2024, we recognize the first National Parvo Awareness Day. Spread greater awareness so we can better protect our four-legged loved ones from this devastating virus. National Parvo Awareness Day is celebrated today. So you have to care for your puppies, you have to care for your dogs. When they poo, please do well to take the poo off immediately. Don't let it remain there because it can actually cause damage to that dog. If the dog sniffs that poop, it's going to cause damage. Or if the dog licks that poop, it's going to cause damage. So please let us take care of our dogs, take care of our puppies, make sure you clean their environment and dispose their poop. It's very, very important. Yeah, so that's on the National
Yes,
Parvo
yes,
Day.
you know,
So many people do not know about it.
That's correct.
Yes,
That's
so
correct.
but this is an awareness. So if you've heard it, tell your neighbor, tell somebody so it can spread
That's
to save our animals.
That's correct, because for dogs, because they are four-legged humans,
Yeah.
it is not certain, even human beings naturally cannot feel comfortable smelling their poo.
Yeah.
So not to talk the four-legged human beings. For other animals like goats, sheep, and all of that, their poos are usually in pellets. So they also as manures as well. They can also be used as manures. So it's a great one, advocacy for celebrating that event.
Yeah.
It's important that we should also take note and do the needful. When we notice the dog has pooed, it's just important that we go clear it off from that point. Okay, so those are issues that are trending, the International Day for the Poo Awareness. And we'll take a break now. And when we come back, it will be our first shot this morning on Morning Light. Still with us, we'll be right back.
See, I don't know. Yeah, the matter.
Okay, no, it's supposed to be placed there.
Yeah,
So you
all
can
right.
catch from there.
You're welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, it's Tuesday's edition of the program, Morning Ride, and usually on the ride, we have segments where we look at issues that are topical, most especially as it affects us as humans. And so there are different phases of topics. We have the spiritual topic, we have the political topic, we have the social topic, we have the economy topics, and these are all issues built around trending situations. And so joining us on our next conversation this morning, it's Reverend Peter Maya. And we are not going to be looking at spiritual issues now, but rather we'll be taking a look at an overview of our economy. So Reverend, we'd like to welcome you to our studio.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Good morning, viewer.
Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so quickly, like I did say, by nomenclature, a lot of people would have expected that would take off from the spiritual perspective. But this time around, it's obvious that you can also take a dive into the economy. So far, so good. Nigerians, they say, are very resilient people.
That's true.
Irrespective of what we might be going through, we can still run the course all through. So quickly, can you just respond to the state of the economy presently?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. The truth of the matter is, to answer to your question of being a pastor is a public servant. I buy from the market where everybody buys from. We patronize the shops and the services of everyone. But I want to talk about the economy like I was brought here to talk about. The truth of the matter is the economy is, biting hard on everyone. Both the high, the low, the middle class are all feeling the brunt of the economy. Not necessarily because there's a new government in town. I think from 2014 till now, about 10 years, there's been a decline gradually from, I think, about the time when the Chibok girls were taken out, where the tail end of Goodluck Jonathan's regime. Then we came to the Buhari era. There has been a steady decline. I think people voted Tinubu thinking that he will be a master, as he had proven in Lagos. Unfortunately, I think things have not yet come as we expect. Things are still biting. They've put in quite a good few policies here and there, but I think the masses have not yet seen the effect of those policies. Light is nowhere. In my house, I've not seen light for the last 3 days. Fuel is still very, very expensive. Diesel is worse and all of that. So in spite of all what we read on the papers, I think the government needs to do more in order to help the masses feel the impact of their government.
Okay, so how would you access this administration now? We know that before the president came into power, he promised us so many things. In fact, his opening speech, he gave us so many promises. And in fact, that particular day, he removed fuel subsidy. Now, how would you access it? Do you think that there's actually going to be light at the end of the tunnel? Do you think he's on the right path? He actually has plans for us? Or do you see things actually collapsing? Like, he did not put so many modalities in place to see that he cushions the effect of I think this whole thing basically started when he said subsidy removal. Yeah, it's gone. And that was when things started skyrocketing. Yeah. Do you actually see light at the end of the tunnel? Is it a right step?
Yeah, I see light at the end of the tunnel because of his track record. But the way he went about it on May 29 was ill-advised. You had not come into an office, you had not seen the handover notes, you have not assessed what was on ground and what your predecessor was leaving. To make that statement was not properly advised. So that drove panic into the system, and a whole lot of, I'm sure you know Nigeria with the panic wave. Once you hear there's going to be a price increase from next month, people start stocking things, people start increasing their prices. So that effect, that panic effect, came into the economy, and from May 29, everything skyrocketed. And I think they are just trying to grapple with it now. They've done quite a, everybody, including myself, of course, believe that that padding of the fuel price, which they call subsidy, was not necessary because it was biting so hard on our reserves. But the modality with which it was removed was absolutely ill-advised. I see light at the end of the tunnel. They are trying to work on the dollar. They are trying to bring down the prices of fuel. They are trying to encourage internal production through Dangote and all of that. But I think the only area they may not have been getting it right is the implementation. You can say anything you want to say, except it is properly implemented, especially at grassroots, you will not have the effect. For instance, I bring a very practical example. About a week today, Dangote said the pump price of diesel will be 1,000 naira. On Friday, we bought in our office, we bought at 1,400 naira. In fact, I had to tell my staff, go to all I call the notable filling stations, go to Northwest, go to NNPC, go to Rain Oil, and we bought at 1.4. Few days ago, we needed to buy some more supplies, and I heard it has come down to 1.3. But if the official price for pumping of diesel is 1,000, then I think Delta State, especially Asaba, which is a capital territory, should have people implementing to make sure that this is. And I had to, when I filled my tank yesterday, I had to ask one of the attendants, why is diesel not 1,000? He said, we still have old stock. I said, this same story, and the guy was laughing. I said, for 1 month, you still have old stock. But before they say diesel will increase, all of you have increased your pump prices, you know. So I think,
bought at,
yes, they bought
low price.
no, the thing is just with Nigerians, and that's where government needs to come in. You must implement. They've talked about NEPA or the PHCN. This is band A, you have this amount of light at this cost, you have this. Now, implementation, I think, is where government needs to get it right. Government needs to get it right. So I think there's light at the end of the tunnel, but if we implement it.
Okay, looking at implementation as a policy, because obviously there's no saying the fact that government has said this should be the selling point, the pump price, and you're saying you have old stock. But if there's a need for increase now, you don't say you have old stock.
That's the truth.
You say you have new stock.
It's true.
Because so it is our attitude and it kind of builds up in our DNA that at the flip of the finger, there's always a sporadic increase in everything.
That's true. Everything.
It's not only for fuel or for diesel. You know,
A bag of rice is still selling at 75,000.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Nigerians also have a way of saying when there's an increase in anything, they say it's as a result of dollar rise.
Yes.
Right? Even when you want to even buy sugar, they say dollar has increased.
Even fruits that we
Yeah, they say
produce
dollar
here.
has increased.
Yes. So,
And I begin to ask, is it dollar that you used to buy it? Well, there's a way they commiserate the value price. Now dollars has eventually come down. And yet, Nigerians have this culture of not breaking prices.
that's true.
Can you comment on that?
Yes, I think it's man's inhumanity to
To
man. Because the truth of the matter also is, while not absolving government totally, a people get the government they deserve. That's where it is. These fellows we are talking about in leadership came out from us, who are the masses. So I think on that end, that's man's inhumanity to man. But on the other end, you must know, every policy is driven. I run an organization, even though it's a spiritual one. We have staff, we have members. There are things I say from the office that I occupy, and I find out that 1 or 2 persons in the system may not want it to take effect. So I make sure I get to the grassroots to be able to make sure I stamp my feet to make sure that these things are done. We do charity from time to time. We do welfare from time to time. I'm also aware that people who want to favor their relatives, people who want to favor those they are close to, people who want to favor their cabal, so to
Yeah.
speak, in the system. So it behoves on leadership to come down to the level of grassroots and to begin to see that things are done. For instance, 2 days ago in Abuja, it trended that a supermarket, a Chinese supermarket, was
Yes.
barring Nigerians. And when it trended, everybody rushed to the scene. A while ago, you had a spiritual issue where a beloved man of God was a little bit harsh to one testifier in church.
Yes.
It trended on the internet, and they issued an apology.
Yes.
So I think government should respond to the masses outcry on the social media and begin to see that things are done. There is no excuse for a state capital not to have the prices that is had in the FCT and in major cities across. So if they are talking of places like Onichubo, some small villages, you will say, okay, maybe before implementation gets there, it will take a while. But we have no excuse not to implement at the state capital level. And I think that's where the challenges are.
Okay. Okay, can you just tell us now, as Nigerians, how is this economic development affecting Nigerians?
It's biting on both the rich. Tomorrow, few days ago, school came back in session, especially the primary, secondary schools. I have a list of people who cannot pay school fees, a list on my table. We have the little ones we usually do sponsor every term to pay their school fees in our church. But I saw a massive list of people who cannot pay. And looking at that, it's not even the beginning of a session. The fees are a little bit smaller at this time. So it just shows you, it paints the picture. At Easter, we did some giveaway, giving food stuff and all of that palliative to members. I saw people who were working, those days we used to have widows, orphans. This time we had workers, civil servants, people working in banks, coming to queue up to take rice, to take oil. So it just tells you the picture that these guys, the economy is biting hard. So I think it's a general thing, and that's where I'm a little bit surprised that government is not trying to address that. Where is the salary increase for government workers? The government will be about 1 year old in the next 2 months. Even next month, May, where is the increment? Everything has skyrocketed. While you are trying to cushion the effect, trying to bring this down, why not say categorically, we'll pay the minimum wage to be 120, and let people begin to know we are even taking little steps. We can never solve the problems of Nigerians in 10 years. But if you are able to say, this is minimum wage, 100,000 or 120,000, the man who takes home 30 now knows that, okay, I have 100,000, let me begin to reprogram my plans. If you now say, oh, light will be available for 10 hours in a day, forget 24 hours, we can achieve it in a jiffy. 10 hours a day, people can now say, okay, I'll refrigerate my food, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll charge up all my systems. Today, everybody has a power bank, everybody has a solar fan, everybody has a generator, so government must come down to the grassroots to say, this is what I've done. And if you can give us light, even 12 hours a day, I think the masses will be clapping for the government. And they can do that. Cut down government costs, cut down your wage bills. Of course, they are trying to merge one or two, but I don't think that's enough. They should do the needful for the average man to be able to afford 3 square meters.
So quickly, Reverend, I know growing up as a young child, we used to have this level of social stratification, where we had the upper class,
The middle class.
and lower. But it's like the middle class seems to have been expunged.
It has disappeared. There's no middle class.
So what's the thought process? It seems we're neither here nor there. The rich also cry.
Of course.
They understand. So is there any other route at the end of the day, taking a look at the crystal ball, for example?
If they are able to implement, my challenge still comes on implement. If they are able to implement, the truth of the matter is dollar has come down. You rightly said that. Prices have refused to come down. You have said diesel is 1,000 naira a liter. Diesel is still higher than that. You have said fuel is 620 naira in Lagos and 630 around the nation. I bought fuel yesterday, 695 naira. So all of these indices must affect the middle class, the low class, even the high class, apart from those who government is cushioning their expenses. So government needs to clamp down on filling stations that are not complying, need to clamp down on banks that are still exchanging dollar at the abnormal rates, need to clamp down on BDCs, bureau de changes. So government needs to do more, and it's not about the federal government only. The state government too needs to wake up. If the government has said this is, you have your own internal mechanism. You have all the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Industry, Ministry of all of that at the state level. They need to take a cue from every pronouncement from the federal government and begin to implement it in the grassroots. And I think if we can implement the government, I have a very positive vibe about the government. I have a positive vibe. I really don't know where I'm getting it from, but I think I have a very positive vibe. The man at the center seems to have a passion for people, and that's why they call him Jagaban and all of that. He's a people friendly. So I think based on that, his mother used to be Yao Loja in Lagos. So I think they have a connection with the grassroots. So they are able to feel the pains. But now his associates, his ministers, those at the running the government with him, needs to make sure that these things get down. They said some few days ago they are sharing 50,000. I don't know if you got your 50,000. I don't know if you got your 50,000.
A lot of people look at it as a scam.
Yes, so that's my point. And the truth of the matter, it may not be a scam from the president.
Okay.
It may just be scam, like we heard the other humanitarian minister who stories here and there about the former fund that was given last year. So this other one, they have to find a way to make sure people get it. I saw on social media people posting a lot, oh, I've gotten mine. But all people I know, our church is over 500 people. I've not seen one person who say, Pastor, I have testimony, I saw 50,000. I have a family, I have extended family, none has testified. So if I have a circle of about 2,000 people and nobody has picked 150,000, then we need to question it. So
That's
implementation
actually
is
a scam,
the key.
All right, so let us leave the government out of this whole equation now. As individuals, as Nigerians, how do we help ourselves? Because we cannot keep waiting on the government. What will the government do for us? What are we as individuals supposed to do for ourselves to help ourselves alleviate this poverty and this mentality that we have to sit, cross our leg, and wait for one grant to come in? And also, I wanted to speak on this buying of cash, using naira to buy naira. I know the AFCC has said it that those that are selling naira should be apprehended now. So what's your take on all this?
The truth of the matter is I partly support the EFCC stand.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is buying currency constitutionally is wrong. And we are in a system. Let me tell you one thing, like my brother was saying earlier, the Nigerian resilient spirit, we have a way of weathering through. But the truth of the matter is we must come to a point where we tell ourselves this thing is not yet where we want it to be, and cut down on our expenses. I did a wedding over the weekend in our church, and I told the people, you do not need to wed on a Saturday. You do not need to go and rent a hall. You do not need to go do all those extravagant. We are not in that time now. The Bible talks about the times and seasons. The season where we are is the season where we need to belt up. At that point where people throw money up and down, you are assaulting and insulting the sensibilities of people. You are causing the young ones to begin to think fraud, to think I must hammer, I must make it. So that's what you are by flying money when there's no money anywhere. So I think for that policy, the government is right. We need to come to a point where you must prune down your expenditure. Everyone must begin to look at how do I help the other person who is a little bit underprivileged. What do I need to do to be able to absorb one more person into my organization so that we can take off? Just this morning I was I told my wife to send about 6 persons to do some kind of job. I said, look at about we had some people, one agency that needs jobs. So I told her, call about 6 of these persons, let them go and let them go and work here. And so we must look at how to absorb people, how to help people, how to support people. Small scale organizations employ one more person. Provide, if you are rich enough, provide light for your street, put street lights on your street, tie your roads, your small closed roads. So there are things we can do. Government will not reach everywhere, but there are things we must do as human beings. And first of all is to cut down on our expenses. We have to live a little bit moderately, not because crime also is increasing. Some days ago, a neighbor of mine was shouting, they jumped into the compound, burgled their cars. Another one said they took their generator. So imagine people stealing generator, breaking into cars. So I think it's time we all begin to be our brother's keepers. It's time we begin to think of the other man, think of the other lady, think of the other widow, think of the other street person in order to make the economy cushioned, especially to our fellows.
So would you attribute the increase of crime now to the hardship that people
Certainly,
are facing?
certainly, it's people must. I've seen people, matured people, crying. It pains me. There was this young lady. We gave out some bags of rice, quarter bags of rice at Easter, and a lady who I thought was a big girl. So maybe she was ashamed to own up in public. Later she chatted me up and said, Daddy, I've not eaten throughout today. I've not. I said, wow. And I told her, but you would have come. She said, no, you know. I now told her to come meet our security man. So I told the guy to give her the rice, oil. And that lady took it and started crying. I said, crying for what now? He said, Daddy, you don't know. People think. I said, I don't have a dime. I don't have 1 cup of rice. I don't have mature, beautiful, big girl, walking girl. I said, wow.
Okay, she works.
She works, but she's an actress.
Oh, okay.
So their job is seasonal.
Yeah.
I was shocked that somebody you see on TV is crying that she doesn't have rice. She was crying. I said, wow. I had to say, take small money, buy this, because this rice and oil, you cannot even eat it on your own. I didn't know that it was that bad. So, this is a direct proportion. The hardship is what is triggering the crime rate. And
that's, people don't open up to tell you what they're passing through.
You will not.
Know.
I say you see a well-dressed man does not have transport. Transport fare. People walk up to me and say, oh, they don't have. I say, oh, you don't have 1K. For me, it's a little bit strange, but I still do understand because we all came from the trenches. But it's difficult how it is. That's why government must. If May 29th, President Tinubu does not talk about the salaries, then I think it must be insensitive. You must add up to people's salaries.
Yes.
We cannot pretend about it. The state government, Delta State is a rich state. Delta State, Rivers State, Lagos State, Akwa Ibom. There are states that must say my workers earn 150 per minimum. So I don't know what this whole money you are using it for. Why not use it to let people live first? The roads you do in 4 years, you come back to do it again. The things you say you have done, the next one is you are not even holding the former people accountable. So why not let us be chopping it small, at least let us survive first.
And do the work.
And because the truth is, Delta State has no excuse. Lagos, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, a lot of these states, Bayelsa, they don't have excuse. They are the highest earners from government subventions every month. So why not let your citizens enjoy these things? So it's very, very necessary that we get to this.
Even those of us who are also on the spray too, were also affected. And I think government has to handle that aspect critically, and that has to do with the cost of accommodation, which is biting terribly. Like in Asaba here now, the days you could go for a 3-bedroom, 1 million,
1 million
1.3, and
minimum.
how much is your salary?
That's true.
Yes, so what's the thought process as we begin to wind up?
I think the government needs to put a policy in place. I was in Lagos before I came down to Asaba 2014. There was something Fashola did when he was governor in Lagos State. At that time, they used to say, pay 2 years, 3 years for housing. So he came down and said, nobody and no landlord must take more than 1 year. I think government needs to come to that point. We have a Ministry of Housing. One, they need to regulate rents. You must regulate rents. The truth of the matter is those houses we are talking about were built when cement was 100 naira.
Yes.
Some were built when cement was 500 naira. So government has a right, a moral right to regulate housing policies. And that's where they need to come and say, 3-bedroom flat, you don't pay more than 350 per annum. A room and parlor, you don't pay more than 150. They must come down on that. Why? Because the long term is you trying to build houses, and you can't even build houses for everybody. So you must come down with some very strict policy. Now you can also make 6 months rentage legal.
Yes.
So tell people, pay for 6 months if you cannot take monthly rent. Abroad, they take monthly
Monthly,
rents.
yes.
So because they know that as you earn, you divide your money. This is for rent, this is for transportation. So why we may not be able to do monthly because of our haphazard calendar of earnings. Some months, the salary moves into the next month. But you could do a 6-month policy. You could also say, this is the pegging for
Yes,
houses,
housing.
a duplex, 1 million, a 3-bedroom flat, 350, 400, this and all of that. And I think if they put people in place, let me tell you one thing about the resilient spirit of Nigerians. People drive one way. When you bring in Okowa police or those guys on blue, Desma, people begin to drive one way and begin to drive correctly. Initially, they will resist and grumble, but once you are working for the masses, they will back you up, and the landlords will only grumble. Before you know, they will amend. They will, when you pick, now I was, like I told you, a daughter of mine wedded over the weekend. Nobody was able to spray. I was at a pastor's birthday yesterday. He said, please don't spray. You know, UFCC is watching all of us. I say, well, this is a good one. So everybody is now afraid of spraying money so that you are not caught on camera and apprehended. It's the same way. Just take 2, 3 landlords, use them as scapegoats. Others will align. And government needs to come down strong. These fellows just wake up and want to do what they like. Now agency, they tell you, those days, I read estate management. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer by profession. It used to be 10%, 5%. Now they tell you your house is, they will just give you a flat amount, pay 200 as agency, 200 as agreement. It doesn't work anywhere. So now these institutions need to enforce this. Legal 5%, agency 5%. And so that, because that's the way you must holistically cushion the effect on the populace for it to work. And so government needs to do more. It's unfortunate that we really cannot speak to them. We believe that such things will get to them that we are doing here. But they need to get to the scene. Maybe because government pays their housing, transport, wardrobe allowance and all of that, so they are disconnected from the reality. But we need to get to that point where government must stamp down on landlords.
to welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, it's Tuesday's edition of the program, Morning Ride. And we are at that point where we'll be looking at issues as a trend on our national tabloids. And joining us as usual, it's Henry Wanze. Henry, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, viewers out there. Good morning to you, Delivered.
Good morning.
So good to be here again this cold Tuesday morning.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it rained yesterday.
And
It
drizzled
rained
this morning.
yesterday. And even this morning it drizzled as well.
Yes, so that means we
The
are
rains are just
gradually
another
entering
cloud.
into the raining season, as it were.
Okay, that's all right. So I will start with the Pointer newspaper. I think we just take major headlines because we need to engage you critically. The Pointer has below the headline, below the masthead, poverty root cause of terrorism, Tinubu admits. Under him, more Nigerians go hungry. And that's it there. We also have state police non-negotiable. Jonathan, as local government workers, merge with police. I think that is one aspect that we're going to look at this morning. We saw the Inspector General of Police and the Minister of Police at various parts saying one for, one against. So you speak to that when we come back to your analysis. But quickly, let's take on the next paper this morning.
All right, our next paper for review is the Punch newspaper. No Nigerian shopper. Chinese operator risk sanctions as FG shuts Abuja supermarket. Pro-Wike lawmakers strip Fubara's power to appoint LG caretakers. FG to unbundle 11 discos, orders sale of 4. And on business, Naira rebound. Rice falls to 67,000 Naira in Lagos, Abuja, cheaper at boards. Okay, IG warns of governor's excesses as FG insists on state police. Outrage over viral video, student being bullied in Abuja expensive school. All right, so that's all we'll take on the Punch newspaper. Our next paper is the Vanguard. Yes,
Okay,
Tanu.
the Vanguard is our next paper for review, and it has IG kicks as ex-president orders back state police. Okay, I think that's a major for the. Okay, we also have it this way. Okay, I think that's it. All the other clips that follow through, when you pick up a copy, you will divulge none of that. But I think
Yeah,
the
I think
major
we
thing
have
is.
We have the
that story.
Kwama story there also.
Okay.
Help, we're dying in forest. Displaced residents beg Oborewori. FCCPC seals Abuja Chinese supermarket over discrimination against Nigerians. So that's what we'll take on the Vanguard. Let's quickly look at the Guardian newspaper. NAFDAC bust fake cosmetics operation in Lagos. Okay, insurance banks compete for scarce funds under new NICOM. FG plans regulatory intervention as fiber repairs cost telcos 27 billion naira last year. Democracy at dead end. How preference for administrators stalls grassroots elections development in Imo. And that's all we'll take on the Guardian. So I think we should just.
What other paper do we have for review?
Okay.
Okay, I think for the now.
This day newspaper.
Okay, this
Tano,
day.
you can take that.
All right, this day newspaper has it this way. Tinubu external funding fueling illegal mining terrorism in Africa. And in historic move, NEC transfers regulatory oversight to Enugu Electricity Commission. Ex-British convoy urges Nigeria to reject IMF's projected low economic ranking. All right, I think that's all for the various papers we'll be looking at this morning. But we just focus on the topical issues. Yes. Quickly, Henry, poverty, root cause of terrorism. Tinubu admits poverty is the root cause of evil.
Yes.
When a man is poor, depression comes in. And when depression comes in, he does anything. So we need to be upscale.
And it says under him, more Nigerians go hungry.
No, it's not what I said that. It was just the rider.
The rider beneath, now that's what it says. The rider beneath
Okay,
of
so
that
under
poverty,
him.
under him,
Okay,
more
speak
Nigerians
to
go
that.
hungry.
Who is attributable to that statement?
Where you
Anyway, maybe when you grab a copy of the paper, I'll be able
we'll
to know.
see who did
But
that.
it's Nigeria is really a comedy of errors. I can say poverty cannot be the root cause of any crime. I keep saying this everywhere I go. Yes, we know it's one of the problems plaguing us in the country, but we cannot attribute that the fact that I don't have anything to do that you now go into crime. It's about foundation. It's about our morals. One, we grew up in a home. I grew up in a home that we didn't have much. It's not as if we were that poor, but we didn't have much. But that didn't propel me to go into crime. So the fact that people use that excuse that because of poverty they're into crime, I totally disagree. But where I will also, in a way, agree that it is also a link, it's not as if it's totally true, is that, for instance, in the northern part of the country, these governors or these bourgeois or elites deliberately leave these ones to be perpetually poor in such a way that they can manipulate them. Now, look at it this way. When you're poor and you depend on somebody, just like Sonny Neji sang, you'll be my bingo, I'll not be your bingo, stuff like that. You know, it's like feeding a dog. The dog is loyal to the person who feeds it.
Yes.
You understand? Anytime he sees the person is at the beck and call of the person because the person gives him the bone and all the food. And that's what poverty does to you. Sometimes it affects the individual that they can be manipulated, can be easily manipulated. But I think the main issue has to do with poverty of the mind.
Okay.
It is not just about the poverty as it were. And the poverty we're talking about, there is poverty everywhere in the world, even in the United States of America. But what we're talking about is extreme poverty and hunger or multi-dimensional poverty. Poverty has many shades. And the one we experience in this country is multi-dimensional poverty. We saw that it was rife under the Buhari administration and it's even getting worse with the high inflationary trend, which is about 33-point-something% now. So poverty might not be the root cause. Like I said, it has to do with the foundation of your home, of our morals, how we're parenting and stuff like that, the kind of morals you get. But poverty also cannot be totally divorced from the whole equation because when you are mentally poor, anybody can come and manipulate you and tell you do this
and you do.
like a zombie, you act. So, but for me to say because I don't have money, I don't have a job, I go into crime is not an excuse for crime. It's not an excuse for terrorism. And now the writer says under him more Nigerians go hungry, and that is just the truth. If you look at the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, figures, and you could see that a lot of Nigerians are poor, but it didn't just start today. I must say this: it started under the last administration. You could see the figures. The figures kept on, dwindling. And the MDG, one of the goals of the MDG was to ensure that they eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Like I told you, poverty is everywhere in the world. It's not as if it's a Nigerian thing.
Yes.
But what concerns the Millennium Development Goals, or what we're talking about, is the extreme poverty and hunger. And you could see it at the point we're called the poverty capital of the world. Very embarrassing as it were. But let's face facts. How many Nigerians live below the poverty line? How many Nigerians live below $1 in a day? If we look at the dollar now, the dollar is about 1,000, about 200, dwindling and going up and down. At some point, we're very happy that the dollar was appreciated. At some point again, it was as if it was increasing again. So many Nigerians live below that benchmark. So we could see that yes, there is poverty is rife under this administration, but it didn't just start today.
All right. Let's see this story. No Nigerian shopper. Chinese operator risks sanction as FG shuts Abuja supermarkets. And this says that there's a particular supermarket in Abuja that do not allow Nigerians to shop. I don't get, like, you have your shop in Nigeria, in a country, and you prohibit the residents or the citizens of that country to shop from that.
Yes, it's
so
strictly for their citizens.
strictly for their citizens.
Yes.
But is it okay?
It
Is
shouldn't.
nice?
It shouldn't be. But I'm surprised that you are shocked. I am shocked that you are shocked because this is not the first time it has happened. We've had so many cases in the past, and nothing was done about it. There was a case of a young man who went to a restaurant in Lagos, a Chinese restaurant, and it was discovered they don't even allow black people into that place. So it's not a new thing. The thing is, like I said,
It's strictly for their
it
citizens.
behoves on Nigeria,
I don't buy that.
who is the sovereign state, who accommodated these persons into the country. That one of the rules you give them, or one of the guidelines, is that this is what you are supposed to do. But the problem is, like, I don't know the kind of laws or whatever multilateral or bilateral agreement they sign with this country, especially the Chinese. At the end of the day, it makes them so powerless to be able to even have control over them. Now the Chinese will come and do a business in Nigeria, probably road construction, and one of the terms are supposed to be that you are supposed to employ the citizens of the country, if possible, citizens of the community in which you are doing that particular stuff, which is very okay, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
But then we discover that even those who are being employed are not properly taken care of, and nobody hears their cry, nobody comes to their aid, and even those who are even taking care of are just semi-skilled or non-skilled, as the case may be. They don't even take those high up the chain. It's mainly their Chinese citizens. So sometimes it has to do with the Nigerian government, whatever bilateral agreements they sign. But I think it's a misnomer. But I'm saying it's not the first time it has happened, and it's definitely not going to be the last. Until the federal government wades into the situation, because let me tell you the truth. You cannot go to China and as a Nigerian and organize a business or set up a business in China, and I will prevent the Chinese. It's not possible. It's only in Nigeria you drink water and the water gets stuck in your throat. It's abnormal. It's an abnormality. You don't do that. You are in Nigeria, for God's sake. You're doing business in Nigeria. It's supposed to be for Nigerians and everybody.
Yes.
And that is discrimination, and it goes against the tenets and the spirit and letters of the Constitution, which is about discrimination, the section 42, to be precise. So what we are saying is that it has to do with the government of the day, which is the Nigerian government, to wade in. And when you sign some of all these bilateral agreements before, these institutions or these things are established, these things have to be put in fine print, in black and white. On no account should anybody be discriminated, from that premises or business, as the case may be.
Okay, let's take this story before I let you go. State police, non-negotiable. Yesterday we saw the IGP on one side, the Minister of Police on one side, the immediate, the one-time president of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan, on the same side with the Minister of Police and a few other Nigerians. But the IGP actually had some meanings in what it said. Looking at it. Yes, he had quite some very good reasons that a lot of things, and it's everybody that has supported the state police, because we see them likely to be compromised, you understand, by the ruling cabal. They might use them as a vendetta troop towards political opponents and all of that. Now we are in the middle.
Yes.
What do you have to say? Can you respond quickly?
Well, like you said, we're in the middle of the Red Sea, whether to cross or not to cross, and we are crossing, and the Egyptians and their chariots, Pharaoh and his chariots, are pursuing. The truth of the matter is that necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. What has led us to this point where we find ourselves? Yeah. Section 214 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, clearly states there shall be one police force known as the Nigerian Police Force. Later were amended to Nigerian Police. So as our law exists now, the present law does not allow for state police. And so you could understand why they're advocating. But the point is, why would you be advocating for a state police when you already have a police? It shows there is a problem with the present arrangement.
Yes.
That is why people are advocating. And you all know that this didn't start today. The clamor of state police has been going on, even in this last confab, 2014 confab. It was one of the issues that came up, and one of the issues that was in the final copy of their report, even if we didn't get to see all of them. The point now is there is a problem with our internal security. There's a problem with the entire security architecture of Nigeria. Yeah. there's a problem with the way our police is being handled and the way they carry out their business. And that's why people advocating for state police. Well, fine and good for those advocating for state police. And for those who are also kicking against it, like I said before, there are fears in some quarters that these governors we've seen in the past will want to abuse or take advantage of these privileges to hound and haunt political opponents.
Yeah.
That may be true, but that does not negate the fact that state police is high time we also have state police. But I, on one part, I said before, yes, if rather than state police, why not find a way to restructure the Nigerian police force?
Yeah.
I want to believe that October 2020, the NSAS protest, one of the issues that brought about that protest was the issue of reforms in the Nigerian police.
Yeah.
But what did we do? Rather, we succeeded in, killing and maiming, even if the federal government at the end of the day said nobody died. Now, I would have expected that from that point, that was something that would have, spoken to their minds to do what they have to do to ensure they rejig the Nigerian police. But nothing was done. Not too long, we now saw the police coming to the streets again, hounding individuals on the street, harassing them. So it's not about changing the nomenclature. If you like, you change it to the Nigerian police. If the main issues are not well tackled, what are the issues? First, how do you recruit? What is your level of recruitment? What kind of individuals do you put into the Nigerian police? What are they? Do you make them go through psychiatric evaluation? Somebody who you don't know his mental state of health, you give him a gun, a rifle, he will kill you. And that's why I was against this issue of, what's it called? What do you call it? Being, as individuals, self-defense, having arms like we have in the United States of America. We're talking about gun control everywhere. Because most of us are not mentally stable. We're not talking about mental health issues are one of the issues that we are not really talking about. But it's one of the issues that is plaguing us. So you give somebody who is not mentally in a good state of health a rifle, what do you expect him to do? You misbehave, he shoots you. At the end of the person is gone. No matter what you say, it's gone. So the point is, it has to do with rejigging of the entire process. Because even if you bring the state police, let's even forget about the issue of the governors being emperors, they might want to hound or use it to hound or haunt their opponent. The point is, the Nigerian police force has to be restructured critically. Now go to the police colleges. I was telling you the other day, what kind of police do you expect to breed from the nursery? Because that's like the nursery. You want to transplant them into the society. Go and look at the Nigerian police colleges. You see that it is a sham, it's dilapidated, it's a state of ignominy. So what kind of persons? Go and look at their barracks. How is their welfare? When a police officer dies in the line of duty, what is done to the police? What is there to encourage them? See, when we accuse the police of certain things, such as judicial killing, let us also look at the causes of certain things. You don't blame them entirely. They are the product of the system. The Nigerian police, as you're saying now, is your brother, my father, and so my sister. They came from families. So it is a societal problem. Whatever we see, it's what the society has been able to breed. So if we must, reform the police, it's not about having state police or local government police or having a militia, as the case may be. It's about restructuring the police, and it has to start with, your basis of recruitment from the point you even get into the state, the police colleges and everything. Then you now have individuals who come into the society. They have that mindset that the individuals, the citizens, are your friends. And to be very fair, even in other countries, the police is your friend. In Nigeria, the police is not your friend because they have this mindset that, we hate them. And we also have this mindset that the police doesn't like us. And so it's like we live in antagonism to each other. Yes. And so there is this mindset. Sometimes the police tells you, park your car. Or, Oga, how will I put it now? It's okay. Just let us search your particulars. And the way we react, it's already a mindset. And sometimes the way they also say it, okay, pack. No, not being polite. But when you get to senior clients, you see the way the police will tell you, please, sir, can you step out of your car? Can you please? Stuff like that, please. And you still keep saying the word, please. They are even arresting you. They are telling you, please.
Yes.
You're taking your hand to the back.
Yes, I tell you, please. Can you place your hand behind your back?
Please.
Can you open the trunk of your car? So it has to do with restructuring the entire police force in terms of our mental capacity and everything. It's not about state police. It's not about state police.
Yeah,
Yes.
they treat people. They just want to treat everyone.
It
as
should
a
be
criminal
human.
or
Yes, we should be
suspect.
human. Yes.
But it's not supposed to be like
And you,
that.
as
They're
a
supposed to
suspect,
protect
you
us.
continue to remain a suspect until you're
You
proven
prove
guilty.
yourself. Mm.
But here you just hound the person, and the person's already, as if the person has already been condemned. So it's a societal problem.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
Okay,
we
oh, yeah,
just look
take
at
the
this
left on
Okwama community? Yes, it says Okwama community identifies 11 persons killed by military, 413 houses destroyed. And on Vanguard, we have help, we're dying in forest. Displaced residents begged for your worry. So that's to say they're still in the forest. Is the town...
Nigeria is a crime scene. You know, it's only in Nigeria you have things like this. Something that occurred sometime in March. Now, we've said this, a responsive government should be responsible for its citizens.
Sure.
You know, this situation has come to the point where we get into the root of exactly what transpired on that day. It's unfortunate, yeah, we lost lives, but we need to really find out exactly what went wrong. And in finding what went wrong, we shouldn't suffer we shouldn't make people suffer for crime committed by others, as it were. What has been the crime of the citizens or the indigenes of Okwama, of those now, taking refuge in the
In the
woods?
forest, yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Really.
It's unfortunate. And the way, agencies of government carry out their functions in a Gestapo style. That's what I was going to say. I thought we were going to talk about the issue of Yaya Bello and the EFCC. But maybe that might be for another day because there's no time. It is the way and manner we do our things. The agencies of government, they are servants. They are meant to serve the people. And so in carrying out your functions, it must be within the ambit of the law. And it has to show a human face. Now, the way the military carry out their functions is not being professional sometimes. Now, yes, some officers, were killed and stuff like that. And you came in and you opened fire and you're looking for, people heads to roll. And nothing is done in this country. We saw it in Odi. We saw it in Zaki Biam. Nothing happened. And this is not the end of it if something is not done about it.
It's
Okay.
dangerous. all
We'd
the
like to
time.
thank you so much, Haruche
Thank
Wanze,
you.
for bringing us up to speed on the issues as a trend on our various Nigerian tabloids. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it'll be yet another spot on Morning Bright. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Am I going to?
All right, you're welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, it's Tuesday's edition of the Top Flight television program, Morning Ride, and we're at that spot where we look at issues as a trend. And joining us on our next spot, it's a seasoned technocrat, a politician of repute, who has actually cut a niche for himself as far as the political space is concerned. A one-time member of the National Assembly in a capacity as a representative of the good people of Anioma Oshimili, a two-time special advisor to His Excellency, the immediate past governor of Delta State, and currently the Assistant National Deputy National Organizing Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. I'm being joined this morning by Right Honorable Pascal Oranine Adigwe. We'd like to welcome you to our studio.
Thank you, all right. Thank you.
Nice having you with us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, young lady.
Good to have you, sir.
We'd like to say that
I wanted to beat the drum, and while you were calling those heavy portfolios, I just wanted to beat the drum, but you didn't let me, so next time I'll do that.
so welcome you to our studio. We know that you are a very, very, very busy person because you keep moving from one scale to another. So thank you so much for taking time to be part of us this morning.
Thank you.
I know once you're through now, you're off to the golf course. Well, you had to say yes, Oloma will be with you this morning. So quickly, we're looking at the state of the nation from a political point of view. So far, so good. Would you say we are doing well?
Well, first of all, thank you, and thank you, sister. And then thank you, our viewers, for the opportunity to have some ideas that things that concern our country espoused this morning. When you say we, I do not understand who you mean by we. We are doing well. So who do you mean by the we? Are you talking about Deltans? Are you talking about political party? Are you talking about Nigeria?
Deltans, political party, and Nigeria by extension.
Okay, yeah. When a going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's basic, because God is on the throne, and He never turns His back on His people. He told us clearly in Joshua chapter 1, verse 5, that He is our God, that He will stay beside us as He was by the side of Moses, that He will never leave us, neither will He forsake us. So no matter the difficulties, no matter the inherent problems that have beclouded our sense of reasoning, sense of hard work, sense of progress, and all, Nigerians just find a way to keep moving, to keep surviving, meaning that God is faithful, God is on the throne, and He will not forsake us. But for the atrocities that have been committed in this country, the degree of pillage, the devastation of our emotion, our psyche, the galloping and jumping policies that continues to come and never takes us anywhere thus far is enough for a nation to give up on itself, for a people to trudge the whole street and take up protest and all. But Nigerians, I don't know the kind of breed that we are. We are highly resilient people, we are tolerant people, we are highly religious people, and God sees the heart of average Nigeria and just continues to provide for us as He provides for the birds in the sky. So we keep hope alive. But if you want to go by the day, the indices, the economic indices that have befallen this country, you will think that we would have all gone under. But God is there for us. Thank you.
Okay, a follow-up to that now, because that we just jumped from that discourse, looking at it from the economic indices. Yes. It's been a tsunami, if you ask me, watershed. Can you respond, speak to that conversation?
You see, I have a little bit of economics, by virtue of my education. And I know that I can hardly find a country where what has happened to us happened to, and they survived it. a country where you move a price of petrol from 147 to 700. Diesel, which is the main engine that runs every economy, diesel for production, from 87 naira to 1,000 and something. And you expect the country to still be on its feet. Where you impose taxes on all sides, where you pound your citizens with all kinds of policies, harsh, excruciating policies, all in the name of raising money, where you take out subsidy on petroleum with one swear sweep, where you take out subsidy from electricity, and yet you come on traffic and there is still what we call here go slow. How? Increase petrol by 10 cents in civilized economies, and you will see the reverberating effect on every aspect of their life. Increase cost of bread by 10%. The workforce will go on the streets. But here, we don't mind. So when we put it through the economics crucible for analysis, what we arrived at is that it's because Nigeria and perhaps contemporary African economies run under table. What I mean by under table is that most of our economic and financial activities are not actually reported. So the indices with which government or the policy managers use to judge our economy may actually be wrong, may actually be misplaced, because they do not have the accurate, concise, complete data to so do. That's why Nigerians are surviving. Go to my town. Everywhere is bubbling. People are moving. There's sea traffic. Shops are open. People are patronizing shops. Things are moving on. A country where you move cost of petrol from 145 to 700, there is something that is holding Nigeria strong. That's why we continue to return the glory back to God. There is no country it will happen to that I know, especially in the Western world, that will survive it.
Okay.
So let them do what they are doing. Nigerians will continue to survive.
So what can we attribute now to the poverty case?
And Professor John Mencken, theory of money demand and money supply, because that is where these things emanate from. That is classroom economics. But let us talk about local, everyday experience. If you fail to produce, then you are skewed for hunger. If you don't produce, be ready to be hungry. Gone are the days where you stretch out your hand and you import anything you like. The cost of even the importation, even if you wanted to, even if there's no barricade, there's no policy barricade to do that, even the cost and the problem, the trouble, the headache involved in importation is enough to even kill you before the products arrive. So you have no option than to begin to produce what you consume, and then tweak or adjust or somersault your consumption to begin to consume what you produce, and produce so that you will continue to produce what you consume. Once these two elements are in place, then the demand and supply forces will come in, and then the country begins to balance. Then price begins to come down. Period. So how do we produce? Unfortunately, the first element on the table that engenders production is electricity. we will continue to fool ourselves, fool the country, if we do not match break and go and talk about power. It has taken 20-something years. This discourse has taken 20-something years. That's fine. But the time you wake up, that is your morning.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know that, in terms of foreign exchange, in terms of balance of trade, in terms of payment advisory system, and all that, we are at a disadvantage. Match break. Let's go and secure power. Luckily, there are latest technologies through which you can generate power.
Yeah.
When we are bundling the power sector in our time in the National Assembly, I served very concisely in that committee. We did the transmission, distribution, and generation on bundling. But we didn't complete it. It was, at some point, it was sabotaged. We completed that of telecom. As we moved to power, it was sabotaged. The same year in Nigeria. Anyway, now that everything has been released, states, you are at liberty to produce power. Individuals, you are at liberty to produce power. And we know, you and I and you know that this is where everything will start from. This is the fulcrum of development in every and any country or nation. So, match break. All these highways you are hearing about, this transatlantic whatever, stop. Let's go and get power. It's like the kingdom of God. Seek it first. And then every other thing will be added onto you. Seek power. Generate power. Own power. Make power available. Make power affordable. And then every other thing will be added onto you. You will be shocked. Take the resilience of Nigerians. Take the hard workness of Nigerians. Place them on top of availability of power. If any country withstands Nigeria, you know that it is not on the surface of this earth. Even China. Because Chinese don't have the intelligence that we have. They don't have the energy that we have. Look at you. You Onome. You are like 4 Chinese put together. Me, I'm like 3 Chinese put together. I don't know any Chinese that is as big as you, that has this kind of muscle. So you can imagine how far we'll go. Don't talk about opening up this your brain and mind. It will take care of about 10 Chinese. And with our tact and wisdom and streetwise wisdom, we will take over the whole world. So, match break. Let's go and get power done, sorted. And then watch what will happen in this country.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Pascal. I want us to talk on your party now, the PDP, the biggest party in Africa. You are on the opposition for now. We've been experiencing a lot of ups and downs, embattled situation in the party. Why is it so, quickly?
Well, you couldn't have been expressing any downs. All we are expressing is up. I don't know anything about down.
Okay.
What is going on is politics, is management of the resources of power, adjustment and counter-adjustment of power and its resources. You get my point. So if you are saying, what you are saying is that maybe because of that we are not declared winner at the national, you don't win all the time. We are won in the past, we will win again. So there's no down as far as I'm concerned. It's all about up.
It's all about
Yes,
options.
yes.
But we see the various, we see the current chairman now.
Okay,
Like,
that
ordinarily, PDP should have still left it where he actually is. Why is it so?
Oh, you mean leaving chairmanship in North Central?
North Central.
Of course, North Central still has the chairmanship.
Position.
Yeah, once they finish sorting themselves out,
Okay.
and everything is settled, and the dust that was raised by inordinate ambition and unpatriotic party members and shenanigans. Once the dust settles, the flood will flow into where it will flow into, so they still have the slot, just that the person who is there now is acting on their behalf, just to make sure that
Yeah, and look at this Kogi High Court, this Yahaya Bello's situation. Yes, the Court of Appeal in Abuja, that was on Monday, yeah, yesterday,
Yeah.
did not sit to hear the appeal lodged by the Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC, against the former Kogi, against the order of the Kogi High Court, which restrained the anti-graft agency from arresting the immediate past governor, which is Yahaya Bello. Now, my question is, why the feet dragging concerning Yahaya's case?
Yes, like what I said earlier, there are a lot of things that are peculiar with and to Nigeria. This is the only country I know in the world. I lived in 4 countries. I've done things all over the world. This is the only country I know where things like this would happen. In the first instance, who is Yahaya Bello? How did he come on board? Did he win an election in his place? Do you know the meaning of election? Hmm? Do you know the meaning of vote?
Yes.
Vote means the transfer of the trust and confidence of a person
Listen to you.
or a group of persons onto someone.
Yes.
Say, hold this, manage it for us.
Oh, yeah.
What did that happen? Somebody died, and they shook the system and brought up someone they believe they can turn around when they like, and made him governor. And from the day he got in there till today, what do you expect? Have you not followed his antecedents? Have you not followed his behavior?
Yeah.
Have you not followed the killings, the barefaced boasting of killing and annihilation in his state? Have you not followed it? Are you surprised? It's only Nigeria that things like that will happen.
That's what I'm concerned by.
But by the way, I am not in a position to talk about Yahaya Bello. I have bigger things bedeviling this country than to talk about a charlatan who has turned himself, a young man that God gave opportunity to prove himself, to prove the point that young people can change the narrative, should change the narrative of this country. And look at the way he has gone. Look at the way he has ended. He thinks he's turning around, turning with judiciary and all that. Yes, the judiciary played into his hands. Because if it is the judge that we knew when we were little kids, if it is judges that we knew, if it is judiciary we knew when we were young and little kids, a thing like that will not be happening today. So it has proven, it has shown Nigerians where our problems lie. So I wish them luck.
We'll drop it there.
Okay, we're coming back to your party now because she has debated by asking.
Yeah, that's all right. It's good to take that.
So at the state level, would you say your party is actually doing so well? Are the chances of people coming back by 2027?
Here in Delta?
No, even at the federal level as well.
No, here in Delta is a foregone conclusion. You not, I don't know how to interpret that in English. But you don't drag the heart of the cola with the spirits. So let's leave that. I will not even go there because it's not possible. All the actors, all the gladiators, all the hitmen, all the action men, all the heavyweights are on our side. The other party has shown that they have no inroads here, so they have evaporated, and you know that for sure. Even the ones who still pretend that they are there, you have seen their fate. Nothing is happening for them. Absolutely nothing. Because those up there know that they don't get level for here. So there is no patronage, no relationship. So leave that one aside. Let's go to national. National is a bit tricky, I must confess. Because our party is still putting its house in order, still putting its arts together. There's no party that will suffer the devastation that we went through, the somewhat of an implosion that we went through, somewhat of the sabotage that we went through in this election that passed and the penultimate one, and you expect that house to remain intact. So, but luckily, interestingly, we have identified where water paths enter Melon, and we are poised to have it sealed. And do what engineers call structural underpinning. That is the process that has just begun. And then heading into the congresses. After the congresses, we'll now move into consolidation, know how many we are, know the new managers of the party, create a new mindset, a new philosophy, a new direction, a new reorganization, and then a new charge towards taking power in 2027. It's going to be a tall order, it's going to be a difficult task, but it is not unachievable if you can plan well.
Okay. I'd like to thank you so much, Honorable Pascal Oronine Adigwe. You've actually spoken so well to our conversation from various issues. And penultimately is that, yes, at the state level, your party is doing so well. And at the national level, yes, it's going to be gradual. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a takeover from the ruling party. That's it. We'll drop this conversation at this point. We've been speaking with the very astute, meticulous political juggernaut, Honorable Pascal Owaronine Adigwe, a one-time member of the National Assembly, two-time special advisor to the immediate past governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, and currently the deputy national organizing secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Thank you so much for your vast knowledge.
Thank you, Honorable.
We do hope when you come back to town again, I know you are very busy, you will also come around to also give us content.
Thank you.
As far as all of this is
Thank you.
concerned.
I am always there to educate and inform our people to the best of my knowledge and capability.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you. My
Thank
sister,
you.
thank
Okay.
you. You sound like you're from our place as well.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm everywhere.
You're from everywhere. I love that. I love that. Nice one.
Thank
Okay.
you
Thank
so
you.
much,
So
sir.
this is where we'll drop it, we'll take a break, and yet we'll come back on another spot on Tuesday's edition of the program, Morning Ride. Still with us. All right, you welcome back. In case you're just joining us, it's yet another spot on Morning Ride, and we're having with us in the studio already the Senior Special Assistant to His Excellency Media, a very compassionate, how to use that word, Dantes.
Well, actually, I am Ambassador S.A. Joshua Emadife, a.k.a. Chief Sardante.
Chief Sardante. It's like to have it's a handshake now.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so I first of all, I thank you for your very wonderful resident again. They say Nigerians are very resident people. You know, most especially coming on this show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Lily, here you'll be looking at the empowerment of.
Yesoroje Okowa.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
let's look at that empowerment program that Deltans, in fact, I would say Deltans will be benefiting from. So can you just throw more light on it? We know forms were picked yesterday, and also today forms will be picked.
Yeah, His Excellency actually approved the commencement of what we call the More Grant Scheme, which headed by the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs, Development, Community Affairs, and Girl Child Development. Talking about Ms. Orode Udwaga. And don't forget that the MORE agenda talks about opportunity for all. And the governor has always told everyone that his government is for all. And so this particular scheme right now is tailored only for those who have not benefited from any government program. This is something a lot of people must know about. If you have benefited from a government program in the past, you have no business going to pick up a form. And this form is available in all 25 local government area, the secretariats of the 25 local governments in the state. One other thing, this program also is for those aged between 21 and 50.
Why that
Age gap.
age gap? Because in the present Nigeria that we are now,
Well,
from age 17, from age 18, you already.
the truth of the matter, even when you see an advert for a job, sometimes there's specification for age. Don't forget also you cannot work all your life. You still have time for retirement. So if they put that age, age frame or whatever, they have their reasons. But I'm just telling you that is exactly what they want. And also, a lot of people have been asking me questions. This is an opportunity for many Deltans to understand that this form, you must be a resident of the local government. You must be a resident of that local government. So someone from Lagos can't just come and pick up the form and benefit from it.
What of somebody who domiciles in Asaba, for example, and it's from Ethiopia East, but there's no domicile there?
Then you go to Ethiopies and pick up the form. If you're from Ethiopies, definitely you have a village, right? And there are some persons rather who travel back to their home to cast their votes during the election time. So what we're trying to do, they're trying to encourage people to also go to their homes. Do you understand? Like I said, go to your local government. You must reside in your local government, and from that local government for you to get that form.
So if you're not residing in your local government, you cannot have access to that form.
No.
And you also said those that have benefited from any other grant will not be qualified to apply. What about those that didn't do well in the previous one?
Well,
is there no second chance for them?
I think instead of you talking about second chance, why not talk about those that have not experienced it at all? I think this is an opportunity for them to experience it also. It must go round. Because if you want to say, let me tell you something, the Sheriff of Warrior government is not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. You understand? But as long as it remains governor, you understand? Anyone who has never felt the impact of governance before, this is an opportunity for you. And a lot of people also ask me which category of persons this program is meant for. If you're a tiler, vulcanizer, hairdresser, and all that, just go and get your form. Now, I think the collection of form is yesterday and today, Monday, Tuesday.
Yes.
And you are giving back the form tomorrow, Wednesday. People must understand that. Because a lot of people will take this form and go sit in their houses. And tomorrow you start blaming the government. Now, there's an opportunity for you to explore in your field or your skills. You understand? So rather to to get a grant from the government, make use of this opportunity right now.
Okay.
Now, don't
Also
you think
talking
the
about
timing is too short?
yeah,
Like picking the
well-
form with this requirement that you have to go back to your village or your place of origin, and then these 2 days, you know, picking the form and submitting the third day. Don't you think the time frame is rather too brief?
Well, I don't know what. After all, like I said, the person in charge is the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs, Mr. Rodi Odwaga. I don't know if she has plans of extending it, but for now, 2 days.
Yeah, and you cannot take it away from her because she has to be astute.
Very correct.
Putting all of that together. Okay, so quickly, moving forward, it's all about the more agenda of His Excellency. But just recently, the governor appointed the youthful Ifeanyi Oguyenga as the head of what Eric Ebo used to do, was STEP and all of that. Empowerment. Do we see the humanitarian also working in pari passu in tandem with the job creation center?
Well, the truth of the matter is this. There is no way they won't work. They won't be in collaboration. Because don't forget that the job of the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs also includes job creation. Let me tell you something. We just talked about the government giving out grants. Now, you must not be employed as a staff of the government for you to benefit from the government. Now, I know in the future they're going to work together. That is for sure personally, and I hope to see that. Because when there is proper collaboration between government appointees, you know, talking about bringing jobs, opportunity, in terms of job opportunities to people, working together will help this government in a good light. Will help the government in a good light.
Okay. And so as we look forward, I know you're also going to be an integral part of all of that. We would really appreciate, because we'll be inviting you again.
All right.
Probably in a week's time or thereabout to
But
give
there's one, sorry there's something that I would love to talk about,
Yeah, please go ahead.
if you permit me, you know. I am so overwhelmed with joy because, you know, His Excellency approved, the last month, the Executive Council of Delta State approved 600 and something million,
674.
674 million for payment of bursary.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the beautiful thing here is this is not business as usual. Now, the governor, through his more agenda, has decided to extend the beneficiaries, not only state and federal tertiary institutions.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the colleges of education, school of nursing, you understand? And the institutions that benefited from this bursary, over 195, there were 195 institutions. So you see now that the governor, when he talks about opportunity for all, it means opportunity for all. And a lot of people also were angry that they were not part of the bursary, but there were criteria. It must be from 200 level and above, and a cumulative grade point of 2.2. Must have your NIN. You know, a lot of people are now aware of this. About 40-something thousand people registered, but only 30,000 something they benefited from it. And Delta State University came first. About 8,000 and something benefited from it, followed by Uniben. So kudos to Delta State University.
Okay, so apart from the bursary aspect,
Yes, I am.
apart from the bursary aspect for students, what about the medical sector, medical equipment? Do you have anything about that?
Oh, well, you know, already the Executive Council also approved renovation of, the import of medical equipment for 20 general hospitals in Delta State.
Yes.
And that is ongoing. And apart from that, the Commissioner for Health, they started renovation of some health centers around the state.
I think it was 3 billion naira that was
Yes,
mapped out.
yes,
for that.
and And the beautiful thing is there's one particular machine he talked about some time ago when I was with him that will mitigate time wasting. For instance, if you have an emergency, it won't take you much time for them to get your card. And you know when you go to a general hospital, sometimes it takes an hour for you to get attended to and all that. But that will mitigate that. And yeah, so in the health sector is going well as far as data set is concerned.
All right, we'd like to thank you so much, Chief
Thank you so much.
S.C. Dante Emanate.
Yeah, Imadifi.
Emadife.
Okay. Senior Special Assistant, Media to His Excellency. Thank you so much. I also appreciate your spirit of residence. I'd like to reiterate that again.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to having you regularly on our set to keep us on the speed as far as the more agenda is concerned. We'll take a break, a final break. And when we come back, we'll take on our last guest for today. Stay with us, Morning Ride. It doesn't happen like this every day, but once in a while, the traffic is jam-packed. We'll be back quickly. Come. Cue.
All right, you're welcome back to Tuesday's edition of your Top Flight television program, Morning Ride. And on this spot, we have members from the Delta State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and they are here to talk about vaccination. Yes, this week is actually the African Vaccination Day. To join me as I welcome Mr. Okoro Adolphus, the HPV UNICEF consultant, Delta State. Good to have you, sir.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right, and next is Dr. Natalie Afebuame. Yes, the Director of Social Mobilization and Advocacy. Good to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And far end, we have Dr. Chidima Ibukwe, Registrar with the Federal Medical Center. Yes, Delta State. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are looking at the Africa Vaccination Week. So this week precisely is the African Vaccination Week. And I want you to tell us more about this week, the vaccination, and also the theme for this year's celebration.
Okay, thank you very much. So all around the world, the last week of April, we usually celebrate the African Vaccination Week. Now this week is unique because WHO is actually celebrating the 50th anniversary of the EPI. Now EPI is Expanded Program on Immunization, and it's a program that was launched by WHO in the year 1974, and it helps to reach children with life-saving vaccine, irrespective of their geographical location or their socioeconomic status. As we know, vaccines are very important for a brainchild because it helps prevent debilitating illnesses and diseases. Initially, they started with just 6 diseases, but now there are over 20 diseases that vaccines help to prevent. The six diseases that it started with were TB, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, polio, and measles. But now there are so many more diseases that these vaccines help to prevent. We have pneumonia, you have the human influenza disease, and we have the rotary virus disease, the one that causes diarrhea. And even now, we are working towards introducing the HPV vaccine, which will be coming in May. So, like we said, vaccines are life-saving, and this EPI has come about to make sure that these vaccines are free and accessible to children.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for throwing lights on that vaccine. You talked about HPV. Mr. Okoro, can I get your view? What exactly does HPV mean when we talk about it?
Okay, thank you. HPV means human papilloma virus vaccine. HPV is human papilloma virus. That is a virus that affects, causes cervical cancer, mainly in women, because it's only women that have cervix. You know, but it's a problem. The human papilloma virus causes both cervical cancer and other human papilloma virus diseases that even affects males. You know, like it also causes cervical vaginal warts and the other diseases. It has up to 100 species of human papilloma virus. But the worst of it are the species of 16 and 18, which causes cervical cancer. So cervical cancer is a very dreaded disease amongst women. From last year, the Nigerian government introduced the human papilloma virus vaccine to control cervical cancer in women. And the first phase of the program started in 16 states and FCT, Abuja, in the last quarter of 2023. Now, this year 2024, in the second quarter, like she said, in the next month of May, last weeks of May, Nigerian 21 states will also be producing the human papilloma virus vaccine. What does it do? The human papilloma virus vaccine prevents cervical cancer in women. And we're going to deal with girls 9 to 14 years of age. That is the age bracket that are going to receive the vaccine.
Okay.
This is the age at which that is deemed to have not had any issues with, contact with, human papillomavirus, cervical cancer is a contact disease,
Okay.
man to woman disease. It's a sexually transmitted disease. So because of that, women are most at risk because of the problem of cancer in women. Of course, all of us know what it as far as cancer is concerned. So to prevent the issue of cancer, cervical cancer in women, the human papillomavirus vaccine is very, very important for all girls 9 to 14 years. And that is going to be the first 5 days of introduction that we call the MARC campaign, which will take up girls from 9 to 14 years. But after that, from next year, it will only be dealing with 9 years only. Those who are 9 years only. So for this phase of the program, we are going to handle 9 to 14 years. And that population is found in schools, majorly in primary 5, 6, then just 1 to 3, and the highest of just SS1. So that is why the focus is going to be on secondary schools, school-based campaign. And we are going to concentrate more on schools. Then out of school, those who are not in the schools, like those who are not in the schools, catch them at, in the health facilities, in where traditional leaders, palaces, or any gathering places where people can be found. So that is how the program is going to take place in the state.
Okay. So, Dr. Natalie, what's the theme for this year's celebration, and how far have you gone with your campaign in getting these young ones?
Okay, so
They're called Dr. Natalie. I was going to tell you what I call. Yes. Dr. Chidinma. Yes. Sorry. So that question is what? Yeah, what's the theme of this year's celebration, and how far have you gone with your campaign, especially getting these young girls who are not in schools?
Okay. The theme of this year's campaign is, I think, the African immunization policy. Sorry.
yes, it's humanly possible, saving lives through immunization. So let me take that question from the state's perspective. Now they are our partners, we're working closely with them. So the theme for this year's African Vaccination Week, like I said, is humanly possible, saving lives through immunization. Basically, what we've done so far is we've had a lot of media engagements, trying to talk to people about the importance of immunization and how safe it is, and to remind them that these vaccines are actually free and they are safe for our children. Now for the HPV, we've done a lot so far. We've had a lot of engagements with stakeholders. We've gone to Ministry of Education. As you know, these children, and most of them are going to find them in schools. So we have to work with education. We've seen the traditional rulers. We've informed them about this program so that, of course, they can inform their community and they are ready to receive these vaccines.
So have you started your campaign now?
Yes, we've started the campaign. We've even done what we call microplan. Now, microplan is just like mapping out the resources that you require to carry it out successfully in terms of manpower, in terms of financial resources. We've commenced the microplan in the different LGAs. So we're looking forward to a successful campaign.
All right. So, Dr. Chidinma, what would be your advice to women concerning cervical vaccination?
Okay, my advice is that women should try to, this human papillomavirus vaccine, aside the fact that the vaccine has been introduced, and then we advocate that women should go for this vaccine, receive the vaccine, and then also allow their young girls, that's their daughters, to receive this vaccine. We also advocate that they should also go for cervical cancer screenings, like the pap smear and the rest, so that we can catch those who let's say have been exposed to the human papillomavirus vaccine, and then if there are people who already have the pre-cancer, who already have been the pre-cancer, then they can start treatment on time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm afraid that's where we will drop it because of time. Yes, time is no longer our friend. But we sure will have you again so we can talk extensively on this particular topic, because I know that cervical cancer is something that is really on the increase, especially amongst women. So we'll be glad if we have you again so you talk extensively concerning this. All right, so this is where we drop this conversation this morning, and I want to say thank you to the body, Delta State Primary Health Care Development Agency, who are here to talk about the African Vaccination Week. And we have Mr. Okoro Adolphos, the HPV UNICEF consultant, Delta State. We also have Dr. Natalie Afebuame, Director, Social Mobilization and Advocacy, and also Dr. Chidema Ibokwe, Registrar with the FMC. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us here.
Right, on behalf of the crew that made up Tuesday's edition of Morning Ride, we sincerely appreciate you for riding with us this Tuesday morning. Let's do it again tomorrow, being Wednesday, bright and early. My name is Lilibet Ugochukwu, and from Tano Onome, we're saying have a beautiful Tuesday. Bye and stay safe.
Good morning. Here is the AM News. I am Eunice Emiazia. The State House of Assembly has commended the state government for paying attention to every sector of education in the state. The Chairman House Committee on Education, Honorable Charles Emedulu, gave the commendation in continuation of his oversight visit. Henry Usiayo reports.
Welcoming the House Committee on Education, led by the chairman, Honorable Charles Emetulu, the Commissioner for Secondary Education, Mrs. Rose Ezewu, and her counterpart in primary education, Dr. Kingsley Ashibogu, said the visit was timely and reiterated the ministry's commitment to working with the House Committee in attaining the organizational aim of the MORE agenda. They highlighted some of the challenges facing the ministries, to include vandalization of infrastructures by host communities, lack of teachers, especially in rural areas across the state, and encroachment of school lands by communities. The commissioners assured that at the end of the present administration, public schools in the state will be better developed.
Series of problems is one, encroachment of our schools, which most of them are the community leaders encroaching our school premises. Secondly, the lack of teachers in the secondary school. The last employment our father, His Excellency, did was 1,500 teachers into the field. When divided, it was 2 teachers per each school, because we have 489 secondary schools in the state.
We are overwhelmed because we feel that your visit is timely. Therefore, as we welcome you,
Augustine Ogoro, who doubled as a permanent secretary for both ministries, in his address said the state government, in its pursuit for a free and qualitative education, does not allow the payment of fees in public primary and secondary schools. Sir Ogoro highlighted some achievements of the ministries, to include the construction and renovation of classrooms in schools across the state, as well as provision of furniture to students and teachers in public schools.
Over the years, particularly from 2015 to date, a total of 399 projects have been awarded in the public primary schools, out of which 311 projects have been completed, while 88 are ongoing. These projects translate into 765 classrooms constructed, 1,564 classrooms renovated, 91,668 students' furniture, and 9,322 teachers' furniture supplied.
Responding, Honorable Emetulu said the state government placed a premium on education at all levels. Hence, successive administrations have invested much in the sector.
The state government wants to pay